Hi Renee, this is Professor Barati, and I just want to go over your case study with you quickly. So let's go over some of the steps here. The predetermined factory overhead rate was done correct. You took the $4,500,000, divided it by the budgeted $600,000. Again, you took the budgeted numbers and came up with the $7.50 predetermined rate. Which was given to you in this problem here. Next step is the first part where you did a good job answering the question on describing a job cost system and how it's relevant. And so you got full credit on that. And then part two, the only WIP account, you correctly identified DRS 114 as the balance in the WIP account. And you got the right information with beginning balance. You picked up the raw materials correctly, purchased parts, direct labor, and you calculated the cost of the manufacturing overhead. Except you didn't put the manufacturing overhead in your cost of goods manufactured. So as you can see in this schedule, the factory overhead is added to your direct materials, purchase parts, and direct labor to get to a work in process inventory of $807,750. So you were almost there, but you came out with $661,500. So you were a little bit off because you didn't include the $146,250. So that's going to throw off your calculations for some of the other answers. So in part 3, the finished goods inventory is calculated as follows. The finished goods inventory started with your beginning inventory of 19,400 units and playpen units. Units completed in May were 15,000. Units shipped in May were 21,000, which leaves you a finished goods inventory in units of 13,400. So you took 25,000. You correctly identified production completed, shipped goods of 21,000, units and finished goods inventory at 19,000, when it should have been 13,400. So if we go back to your schedules here, you took you used the beginning WIP inventory as your beginning finished goods of 25,000 when you should have started out with 19,400 under finished goods inventory. 21,000 shipped is correct. So that's where you made your error. You picked up the beginning inventory from WIP instead of finished goods. So your cost is not $31.80. Your cost would have been $510,000 divided by the 15,000 units completed. And that's done right here. You take your work in process inventory of 420,000. You add in your costs that were added to WIP. You apply your factory overhead based on 4,400 hours at $7.50 to get total costs of $510,000. Divide that by your 15,000 equals $34 a unit. You were off slightly with $31.80 a unit. One, your cost of goods manufactured should have been $510,000, which I've identified here. You were correct in the units completed, so you were just off because your cost of goods manufactured was off. Therefore, your total cost should have been $455,600 as a cost in your finished goods ending inventory for the playpens. You have taken the 13,400 ending inventory units and you will multiply that by the $40 per unit rate to get $455,600. And just to review the factory overhead applied, let's go look at your labor hours, which you identified as 4,400 times the $7.50. Which was not included in your calculation of finished goods. So if you study this, you'll see that 420,000 was the beginning finished goods inventory because it was your ending WIP. Your direct materials, purchase parts are given to you in the problem. So let's find that here. $3,000, $10,800. Direct labor is $43,200, which was given to you right here. And the hours are 4,400 hours times the 750, which I do not see in your calculation here. So altogether, you would have had $510,000 as total cost of goods manufactured. And then finally, you discussed manufacturing overhead, overapplied and underapplied, and how to correct them and journalize them, which you did correctly. So I gave you a score of 85. Knowledge of job cost fundamentals and cost flow were competent. You definitely know how it works. I think you just got mixed up with some WIP numbers and finished good numbers. Dollar value of WIP ending inventory. you know your formulas, you had a sense of where to get the numbers and how to do it. You just miscalculated and lost some points there. Quality of schedules, I gave you 20 out of 25, some points off. I just had a hard time following some of these things, these schedules. For example, I had a difficult time with part 3. There was no heading. You didn't write what you were trying to accomplish here, what the part 3 was. And so I had to go back and forth to figure out where you were getting these numbers. Part 3 could have been part 2. I just couldn't make it out. Explanation of under and overapplied was very good, spot on. And your first answer to your job cost problem was spot on. As you can see, I gave you, I submitted the answers so you could study it a little more and get familiar with it. Overall, very good job. But it goes to show you, when you miscalculate one answer, it flows through. So you lost some points there.